Good afternoon, everybody. Um, Obviously, we're just a few days away from the biggest game of the year, and our team's excited. Um, we've been preparing, and I don't know that I've ever gone into this game where I've felt like we are completely prepared. It just always seems like we could use more time and use more practice, and we're just trying to maximize the minutes that we get and get our guys ready. We know it's going to be an incredible fight. Um, they're their guys are going to come into that game sky high and playing as hard as they can, and hopefully our guys will come into the game sky high and playing as hard as we can. And that's what makes the game so great. It's intense, it's physical, and it's a group of guys on each side just fighting as hard as they can to win. Like every year, it's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of, and hopefully we'll find a way to get to the victory circle.
Want to start, Rich? Coach, how healthy are you heading into this?
Oh, look,
Who's coming back?
we're as healthy right now at this point in the season as we have been since I've been here. Now, that doesn't mean we're completely healthy. We've had guys that have been injured. Guys have had some procedures over the course of the season. Some guys that got banged up in the last game against Coastal Carolina that are still trying to get healthy, but collectively we're as healthy as we've ever been at this point in the season, and so that's a positive. I'm a little bit cautious every time a guy's injured and feeling like, I know he's going to be ready, but I think we're getting close on a couple of those guys that were banged up against Coastal Carolina, and that'll be a positive for us.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Coach, you went the extra week, not enough time this year. You have 3 weeks compared to 2 weeks last year. How do you utilize the extra week, and is it a challenge to make sure the players don't peak too early since you have the extra week?
Well, we've had seasons here where we've had 3 weeks to prepare for this game. Obviously, the last couple of years we played on Thanksgiving weekend, but we try to tailor the practices and the preparation so that we're peaking when we get to the game day. Our strength staff and our training staff, I think, do a really good job of kind of guiding how much time we spend out there, what days we practice, what days we pick up the intensity, and what days we take it down. So we've tried to manage that. I feel like our guys they feel healthy. They're getting the work that they need. We don't feel the pressure. I think when there's 2 weeks, you feel a lot more pressure to be out there as long as you possibly can. When you have 3 weeks, perhaps willing to give up a couple of periods each day in practice just to keep the guys fresh and ready. But I don't know that I ever have to worry about our guys peaking too early. Certainly not from an emotional standpoint. Physically, we've got to watch that, but there's nothing that matches the intensity of this game. So when we get to Saturday, I anticipate that both teams are just going to be as excited as two teams could possibly be to square off.
Good. Do you have another one? Connor, go ahead on Zoom.
Okay, Charles, you can start us.
Good afternoon, Coach, and exciting week as you head to the Army-Navy game. Over the past few weeks of the season, key players have been out of the lineup due to injuries. I would like to just inquire about 3. On the offensive side, you have Isaiah Austin and Hayden Reed, and then defensively, Spencer Jones. Can you kind of give an update on those guys?
So Spencer Jones is not going to be available to play in the game. He, in fact, had a procedure during the season, and he will not be available to play. Hayden Reed is back and practicing full go. So he was out for a couple of games, which I hated to see him out of the lineup. I think he's an outstanding player. He's a guy that really can kind of do all the jobs that we ask of our running backs. There are some guys who are particularly good at blocking, or particularly good at running the football, or whatever their skill set, maybe their strength is, but I think he does it all. And he's a really good player. And so I'm excited to see him back out there. Isaiah he's been out for so long. I don't anticipate him playing on Saturday unless there's a miracle.
Great. And my follow-up and final question, perhaps one of the best outputs from the offense this season came against Coastal Carolina, which also netted you guys a win. This also comes from offense, kind of traditional triple option, if you will, where Riley and Buchanan had outstanding games, but it also prevented Kanye getting game reps and carries because he wasn't really familiar, if I'm not mistaken, with the option. You've had back-to-back weeks in terms of buys. Should we anticipate Kanye being part of Saturday's offensive scheme?
I anticipate him being a big part of the game on Saturday. To go under center as we did, we really felt like we were going to catch the Coastal Carolina defense off guard. Obviously, we had just run a handful of under center plays all year, and we committed to doing that at least to start the game. As I said after the game, I didn't anticipate that we would stay in it the entire game, but it was going well. We were controlling the ball, moving the ball, and to have Jacoby and Tyson, who, I mean, I don't know if there's a rep count. I mean, it's got to be thousands of reps that those guys have taken in the under center option, practice, games, drill work, and really we felt like they were going to give us the best chance to do those things. And had we kind of mixed up gun and under center in that game, then you likely would have seen some of the other guys playing in the backfield as well, including Kanye. So, having our most experienced players and the guys that we feel would be most productive, I think was the right decision and the decision that we needed to make. Kanye he's an outstanding player, and he played in the under center offense a year ago at the prep school. So it's not as if he doesn't have any experience. And he certainly got a lot of practice as we were going into that game with the under center stuff. And we've practiced under center some throughout the year. And so just having that game under our belt and being able to take what we learned and what we're able to do from that game. And so all those guys, everybody we've got on our roster, Markel, Miles, Terrell Dixon, all those guys, they've all gotten reps under center. So we wouldn't feel uncomfortable putting them in the game. It's just that those guys we felt like gave us the best chance, and they both had good football games.
Thanks, Coach. Wish you the best on Saturday.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Ken, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Coach. Good to see you. I'm thinking back to your comment after the Coastal Carolina game that running the under center offense is completely different from running the shotgun, but the players pulled it off so well that game. What is the difference? Is there a difference in terminology between the two offenses that you have to cover?
Oh, I don't know that the terminology is something that would create any issues. It's more so the skill sets of the linemen and really what we ask those skill position guys to do under center as opposed to gun. The meshes are different with the quarterback and the running backs. So there's different skill sets that come into play, and that's the biggest challenge. The advantage that we had is that we didn't just present this new offense that guys on our team that have been running the shotgun had never done before. For our linemen and for so many of our skill guys, just talking about Jacoby and Tyson, they've done this and can do it in their sleep, and they've done it so many times. So to be able to incorporate more of that wasn't as much of a challenge for us as it would be for somebody trying to do it for the very first time. So, and we've had our growing pains with the shotgun stuff, and we don't have the the game reps and the game experience going into this season that other people do, and it showed. I mean, just there were times we just didn't play very well at all, offensively, and so I think we've improved and we're getting better. And the more we practice, the more we do it, the better we get at it.
Coach, just ask you about Xavier Arline, the expected Navy starting quarterback, senior from Long Island. He's played 29 games, got 1,000 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns. Going to be a Marine Corps officer. Had a big touchdown pass in overtime against Army last year. What do you see in Xavier Arline?
Well, number one, he's a good athlete and really quick. He's a good leader and has played a lot of football for them. But I also anticipate that we may see all 3 of their quarterbacks, and I think all 3 of those guys are very capable and good players. Lavatai hasn't played in a couple of weeks, but he was dressed out for the game against SMU, and I assume that meant he was ready to go. And then the young guy, the freshman, Braxton Woodson, is a very talented guy. You can see that in the SMU game. He pulled down a quarterback run and ran down the sideline and outran their team. And so I think all 3 of those guys are good players, and each presents his own challenge. And that in turn presents a challenge for us because they're all different, and preparing for each one of those guys is going to be important for us, knowing that we might see any one of them.
Coach, final question, just ask about the Navy defense. They seem to generate a lot of turnovers. They've got 28 sacks, 14 fumbles generated. Seems to be, putting pressure on the quarterback. What are some of the strengths in the Navy defense that you see?
They do a great job of fitting just right where they're supposed to be. They're very complex and very multiple when you look at it from the offensive side of the ball, but they fit everything so well. It just tells you how well coached they are, and their guys play really hard. They give great effort. They're very physical, and just, I mean, they create havoc for a lot of people. And in our games against Coach Newberry the last 4 years, he's been a pain in the butt, and it's hard to move the football against him. But it's not just us. They do a good job of defending everybody, and so good players and play really hard and a good scheme and well coached, and that makes it difficult.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, we'll go to Sal.
Hey, Coach, hope all as well.
Thanks, Sal. You too.
Question about Coach Newberry. Does it feel any different going up against a team led by him over Coach Niumatalolo in this game?
No, it doesn't feel any different. Kenny and I have known each other a long time, and I have great respect for Kenny. He's very successful, took that program to heights they had never experienced before, and he's an outstanding coach, and his teams were always well coached and prepared. And it won't be any different under Coach Newberry. He's a tremendous football coach. You can see the way their team has played and competed this year. This game isn't about the 2 coaches. It's about the competitors. They're the ones that have to play the game, and they go out there every play and fight it out. And man, do they fight it out. But it's about these two schools and the pride of our brand, the long gray line, the over 1 million men and women that serve in the United States Army, the dog-faced soldiers of the 3rd Infantry Division. That's who we represent, and we play for them as well. And so it's more than just the game, and it's certainly more than the coaches. We're way in the background, in my opinion, in this game. It's about the competitors and the men and women that they represent, that serve, and wearing the same uniform of those men and women that serve.
You have a very large senior class. Maybe you're the most that you've had in your time here. Like many players have seen a lot of these Army Navy games. How much do you lean on their experience in a game like this?
We do have a big senior class and a really good group of seniors. And so just I think how we've leaned on them this year through some challenging times. We've had plenty of adversity and some disappointments this year, frankly. It's the biggest senior class I've had, but they're also it's comprised of a group of really good leaders, and they've continued to help the rest of the guys in this program and on this team be resilient and to rebound and to come back the next week. And when we've played well, they've come back and played hard. When we haven't played well, they've come back and played hard, and they've continued to forge ahead. And so just the last 3 games and finding a way to win those games and propel us into this biggest game of the year with excitement and an opportunity to win a Commander-in-Chief's trophy. That really speaks to the leadership of that senior class.
No doubt. As far as offense, do you feel like you have to throw a wrinkle at Navy, or can you mix in the gun option and the under center stuff to try to throw that defense off?
I mean, I don't know how many wrinkles we can come up with. I think the best way to win is to do what we do best and try to do the things that we've practiced all year long. And that's seemed over the years when we played our best to be the best formula. And that's not just on offense, that's defense and special teams. We put a lot of time in, days and hours and practices and meeting time and fundamentals and drill work. All the reps we put in and the things that we do, we should be able to do those best. But in every game, we've always got some things in every game that maybe our opponent wasn't prepared for or that we haven't shown. We did that last week or in the last game against Coastal Carolina on offense, going all under center. But I think in this game, you're not going to win the game on trick plays. You're not going to win the game on reinventing your identity, your schemes. It's doing what we do best. And so hopefully that'll be good enough.
Well, what scheme or what plays you run? Who will be calling the plays is, I guess, my question. Is that depending on what kind of schemes you run on Saturday, or?
Coach Thatcher's going to call the plays on offense, and Nate will call the plays on defense. I mean, it's kind of the way we've gone through the season. Obviously, with the under center stuff in the last game, we leaned on Cody. He's got the most experience, but that doesn't mean it's we're trading play calling duties from one coach to the other. It's Drew Thatcher's our offensive coordinator. He'll call the plays.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Unless I change his mind, and if there's something I want to call, I usually can trump it, but I try to stay out of it as much as I can.
Thank you.